I see all kinds of people today say Barack Obama is like the greatest president of all time. I don't think that's true. He fooled me the first election. He got my ass. He got my ass. I voted for his ass, and he really didn't deserve my vote. I should have voted for John McCain. I should have. Like a normal conservative red-blooded American, I thought hope and change was going to mean something. Now here it is, 5 years later, and Barack Obama hasn't done jack shit for hope and change. We are in deeper debt than we should be. You know, now I've got to fucking write letters to my senators and congressmen on things we can do to change shit. I don't normally do that. I don't like writing letters to senators and congressmen. It's not fun. I've done it one time. And you know what I got back from it? A form letter. I need to come up with something big. Something like marijuana legislation. Marijuana legislation will earn us at least $1 trillion within the first year, as long as we devote time and resources to legalizing it and producing it. If you tax it at the farm, if you encourage every single farmer in America to grow marijuana, that's 70 million farmers. That's a lot of people. If you get them to devote 1 acre of land to marijuana growth, if you get them to pay, say, a $5 tax per plant, you can grow 5,000 plants of marijuana on 1 acre. Do the math. At $5 a plant times 5,000, even if you only charged $1 a plant, you'd still make a shit ton of money. You know how much you'd make? $3 trillion. $3 trillion. That's a lot of money. It's enough to get us out of debt in 5 years. It's enough to give our military something to grow on. It's enough to make our government prosperous. But they don't want to do it. You know why? Because they're being paid by political backers to not legalize marijuana. More money goes into the DEA. We would win the war on drugs. Think about it. The DEA would have unlimited funding to chase down all these Mexican drug cartels and not have to worry about jack shit for the rest of their natural lives. It's gross. It's disgusting. They waste too much money on drug control. You just legalize the shit, you really make a lot of money. You know, I see drug control, the National Office of Drug Control Policy, and I think to myself, how much money is wasted every year? I did some research. $150 billion goes into the DEA's budget every year. $150 billion. Now say we devoted that $150 billion into farming initiatives for farmers to grow, say, marijuana. And tax the sale, production, and distribution of marijuana. I crunched the number. It would bring in at least $5 trillion a year. $5 trillion a year. That's enough to get us out of debt in 3 years. Now there is a nationwide, how do I put it, conspiracy to control marijuana. They don't like marijuana. Marijuana is evil. It's terrible. It's a gateway drug. You know, maybe if some of you people smoke marijuana, you'd see it's not an evil drug. So what if it gets you high? It has a lot of medicinal qualities. You know, the early Christians smoked lots and lots of marijuana. The Muslims smoke marijuana. The Hindus smoke marijuana. The Buddhists smoke marijuana. It's not so evil, guys. I smoke marijuana. Well, I don't anymore. But the point I'm trying to make is marijuana is not an evil drug. It is quite useful. It is quite useful. It alleviates the symptoms of cancer. It alleviates the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. It alleviates the symptoms of leukemia. If only for a short time. It is a natural painkiller. The entire purpose of which is to kill the pain. If they just use marijuana on a day-to-day basis, maybe our country wouldn't be as fucked up as people think it is. Maybe our country would learn to mellow out. Maybe people wouldn't see us as uptight, great satanic evil people. I see this country as an uptight, great satanic evil entity because the people of this country give me reason to think that. You know the strange part about Muslim countries who believe in total repression of your rights? Islamic republics like Iran and the former Republic of Iraq all have legalized marijuana. It grows naturally in the Middle East. It's an herb. It's not illegal to smoke marijuana. In Thailand, you can buy a pound of weed on the street corner in front of a cop. They won't say anything to you about it. It's marijuana. Buy a pound of heroin, you're going to prison. How many cups of water did I put in this?
Just one, I think.
And I put a lot more than that.
One or two. I need some milk.
Now, while this is simmering, let me just go into this remainder of this rant and be done with it. Marijuana legislation is not far off. All it takes is an enterprising American to sit there and write legislation for marijuana. It's simple as that. All they have to do is write the legislation. The law will take care of itself. Did you know penalties for possessing a pound of marijuana in the United States are far worse than possessing, say, a pound of crack? It's like crack's okay and marijuana is terrible. Marijuana is not terrible, guys. I'm here to tell you, I've got the munchies right now, and that's why I'm cooking. You don't like marijuana, don't vote for the law. But sooner or later, someone is going to get the nuts up to write that legislation and pass that law and see all the wonderful money the government's been missing out on. Trillions of dollars. Trillions. Nobody sees it? Come on, I know some young congressman out there has got it in his head that marijuana is not an evil drug. I know some young congressman has got to see that marijuana is not evil. Marijuana is not a terrible drug. You want eggs in this? No. Okay, one last point. If we legalize marijuana, not only would this country be out of debt in 3 years or less, but in 3 years, we'll have so much money we won't know what to do with it. So get out there, people. Write your senators and congressmen to come up with comprehensive marijuana legislation that not only legalizes but taxes marijuana. If the government regulated every single dispensary in the United States, there would be billions of dollars to be made. Just off the distribution of the shit alone. Now, look at this. If everybody who is bringing marijuana across the border paid a tax on it, that would be badass. Tax wouldn't be much, say $10 a pound. That's not bad. That's not too bad at all. Say you're smuggling 500 pounds in. That's $5,000 worth of taxes. But your profit margin is far higher if you just make the investment of the tax. You know the downside to marijuana legislation? If you try to smuggle that shit across and not claim it, your shit will be seized and sold for a profit. That is my idea behind marijuana legislation. Write your senators and congressmen about this shit. You might get a good answer. You might get a formula. But eventually, someone is going to see it for what it is and do something about it. That's all for today, people. You watch me cook. You listen to me. Have a nice day.